Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a video that I've been wanting to film for a little bit. So I wanted to talk about some of the brands that I feel like have lost their magic, or they're just not releasing like very exciting products lately. And I want to start this video off by saying it's not that I dislike these brands. I still own a lot of products from the brands that I'll be talking about today. It's just that initially what got me into those brands was that they were doing something different, and recently they've just been kind of missing the mark for me. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. So I'm gonna just mention brands from all over, like drugstore, higher end. So there's gonna be a little bit of everything, and I'm very curious to see if you agree with what I'm saying or if you have different picks. So yeah, I hope the comment section will be very active because I'm very curious about your thoughts as well. So one of the brands that I wanted to start off with is one of the brands that I used to be like the biggest fangirl of. Actually, there's two brands that I used to be a big fan of, and those are Glossier and Milk Makeup. I don't dislike either brand. I actually still like them both quite a bit. But in terms of releases, and I know this year is very different. I mean, obviously COVID and a global pandemic has slowed down a lot of makeup releases and just changed up the way, you know, not only makeup retail but just retail in general will be operating from, you know, from now on. But there's been some pretty exciting launches from other brands, and I feel like both Milk Makeup and Glossier this year have just been boring recently. So Glossier honestly has not released very much this year. There were 2 additional colors in the eyeliners that they released, what was it, like a year and a half ago, the Glossier Play eyeliners. They also launched a fig balm.com. They also launched a body exfoliator and a dry oil, I believe. And then what else? Oh, and then their Christmas collection, which is I thought it was a joke, but no, they actually released like a little balm.com trio that kind of looks like a cigar packet, like a pack of cigarettes, and I don't get why you should be glamorizing cigarettes. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Yeah, it's just kind of odd. But yeah, overall, I feel like Glossier this year has not been doing anything cool. Or I don't know, it's just they've kind of really missed the mark this year. And not only with their products, but I mean, they got called out very heavily by their retail team earlier in the summer. I feel like they didn't address it as well as they could have, or implemented the changes in a public way, because I mean, they got called out in a very public platform. So they could have handled things differently. I'm not going to cancel them by any means. I feel like they have it in them to make better decisions about how to manage their retail teams. But yeah, Glossier. I went from fangirl to just like, eh. Now, switching over to Milk Makeup, the reason why I initially was so into Milk Makeup, and I mean, we're going back to when the brand was launched, so we're taking it back to what, 2016, 2017, I forgot when it was launched. They had some very interesting, you know, spokespeople back when the brand was launched. You had men, you had non-binary identifying people, you had some more like non-mainstream celebrities, like Samantha Urbani, who's a singer. So yeah, like they were just that cool brand for the weird kids and the weird kind of you know, more androgynous and more experimental liking people. That was so weird. But yeah, it was a brand for cool and weird kids. Get what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why I was so attracted to the brand. You had things that you weren't really seeing, especially inside of a Sephora. You had the eyeshadow pigments in really weird funky colors. You had the stamps, which again, nobody else was doing those little star stamps and everything like that. And then you had very multi-purpose products like the, you know, the lip and cheek stick and things that have now just become like the norm. So I love them because they embraced people's individuality. They were just doing things that were so weird and strange. And I still remember when the brand was launched, people thought it looked cheap, it didn't belong in Sephora, and I mean, look at them now. So they've grown quite a lot as a brand, but I feel like as the brand has grown, so has their like image. And this is all like subjective, but they're no longer releasing these very cool and odd things that express your individuality. They're kind of focusing on core products, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you need those core products for people to go and keep coming back to your brand. It's quite an important thing, especially in retail. You want that product that people will become hooked. Like, this is my holy grail, you know, foundation, holy grail concealer, and they're just gonna keep coming back to that product over and over and over again to build that really loyal customer base. So it's not a bad thing, but I feel like there needs to be something in the middle of those core base products that needs to be released to generate some excitement again. So this past year we had the Milk Makeup Grip Setting Spray. What else was released? A brow product. So it's just been kind of, I don't want to say basic releases, but there's just nothing there in the release lineup that reminds me of why Milk Makeup was that cool kid like a few years ago. Like, now it's just becoming kind of your more hip, I don't know, more hip like Laura Mercier or something like that. So it's becoming that go-to brand for base and complexion products. Again, nothing bad with that, but a few more color things would be nice to have. Another brand that has kind of been losing its wow factor for me, and it's not a brand that a lot of people would associate with wow factor, but bareMinerals. A lot of you know that I worked for bareMinerals at a boutique for a little over 2 years, and bareMinerals as a brand has changed a lot, like a lot. Ever since it got bought out by Shiseido, the brand has changed it's changed, I don't want to say a lot because that's really redundant, but it's changed very dramatically from like the older days when it was owned by Leslie Blodgett. So they're definitely, again, kind of along the, you know, the Laura Mercier, Estee Lauder, and Lancome. bareMinerals has become this brand that has actually done a really good job of building a very loyal fan base. So that's why you see most of the times it's older women that still keep going back to bareMinerals and repurchasing their original foundation and repurchasing the complexion rescue. And they've tried the last few years, especially like the last few months that I was at bareMinerals, they were really trying to go after, you know, millennials and Gen Z, but they just haven't been able to successfully go after them. Like, they hired Hailey Bieber as one of their spokeswomen, but I feel like that's not enough to generate excitement. From what I've seen, at least on TikTok, a lot of Gen Z kids hate Hailey Williams, not Hailey Bieber. They don't like her. I guess she's a jerk. But in terms of product releases, I just feel like they've missed the mark, especially if they've tried so damn hard the last few years to go after that market. They're just not doing it. With bareMinerals, their strength is complexion products. So you got your foundation, your primer, your powder, just very basic things. Nothing bad with that, nothing bad. But, you know, sometimes they miss the mark on releasing stuff like foundation sticks. They were all the rage, but they decided to release one like a full year after when nobody was really caring about foundation sticks, and the Complexion Rescue foundation stick is really nice. It's one of the best actually that I've tried. So yeah, this past year, I didn't even know what the hell they released. If I was bareMinerals, you know, I would still play up to what's popular with millennials and Gen Z, but also kind of meet in the middle. Like, you gotta meet in the middle. If you're bareMinerals, you can't do something too trendy because most of your consumer base is very old. It's like 40 and above. Not very old. They're just older. They're more mature women. So you gotta meet in the middle. Okay, a lot of women, both young and old, love blush sticks. Do something like that. So I feel like they just gotta stick to things that are multi-purpose, very easy to use, and something that will make things quicker, like something quick and easy. And that's something that across the board people would like, from older, more loyal clients to new clients. So yeah, I just kind of wish they would pay more attention to not only like the customer base that they're going after, but what their loyal customer base likes. Oh, and another thing about bareMinerals, this past year they've reformulated so much of their skincare range to the point that what's the point of getting hooked on a product when it's going to be replaced by something else like 2 years later? They just have to stick to what's popular. Whatever's not selling well, okay, take that off the shelf and maybe reformulate it. But if it's a core cult product, keep it on the shelf. Don't go around and and mess that up. And they've done a lot this year. Like my favorite oil cleanser, no longer available. Now for drugstore, I feel like some of the brands that have not been very exciting as of late. I mean, Physicians Formula has never been too exciting for me. I mean, from their lack of like inclusivity, it's 2020. People have called out Physicians Formula so many damn times because they only have 4 or 5 or 6 foundation shades or concealers. They're not very dark at all. And it's so infuriating to see brands just constantly dismiss the demand for darker shade range. So yeah, I feel like Physicians Formula as a whole is just like whatever. I don't really care about them too much. ALMAY is another one that has just been pretty boring. I feel like they've always been kind of boring, but they've had some nice-ish products. I mean, they're old, like eyeshadow palettes weren't that bad, but they're another brand that is just not very inclusive at all, and they've been called out for so many years. Nothing they release is exciting or new or innovative or inclusive. Maybe if they were more inclusive, people would actually pay more attention to them. So yeah, they're another brand that in the drugstore, they just kind of miss the mark constantly for me. And talking about brands that are missing the mark and not being inclusive enough, HOURGLASS. I used to love HOURGLASS. If you've watched my channel for the last few years, you know that I was hooked on their powder blushes. I mean, I have quite a lot of them actually. They're a very beautiful formula. They have one of the most unique powder formulas in my opinion. It's just very buttery, soft, and it looks like it just melts into your skin. It's a very very unique formula of powders. And for the last few years, I mean, everyone knows they always release their holiday palettes, always. So there usually be, you know, they'll usually have like a blush trio or a more like complete like face palette with bronzers and blushes and a highlighter. And for the last few, maybe 3 or 4 years, there's always been a demand for at least 2 or 3 different like palettes for Christmas. Like, do your standard your standard palette for your pale to light skin girls, then do one for like your medium to tan girls, and then do one for, you know, darker, richer complexions. You have a built-in audience. People want to pay for that. And the fact that they've constantly been ignoring that, it's just, it's not it. It's not it. They have a pretty decent selection of concealer and foundation shades. They have the demand. There's people demanding for that. And they've always released the palettes and they're just kind of like, here you go. This is our holiday palette. And I mean, they work for me because I'm freaking pale, but they don't work for a lot of people. Like my mom, she's not even that much darker than me, and some of the colors barely show up on her. So it's just ridiculous, and I don't know, they kind of lost it. I no longer see them as this like luxurious, like cool brand. Like they're just there at Sephora. I haven't even been paying attention to any of their releases, and they never, I don't know. They tried out to be more like aware of everything, and we're gonna reformulate everything to be vegan, but are you gonna be paying attention to your customer base? Yes or no? Because if you're just going after the white dollar, like, oh, I don't know. How do you guys feel about Hourglass? Like, to me, they're just like, they're not really doing it for me. And the last thing that I want to talk about is just like a general grouping of brands or products, but I feel like luxury makeup as a whole just hasn't been too exciting. Like your Burberrys, your Tom Fords, Givenchy, the YSLs, like, and maybe this is because we're in a global pandemic. People don't want to be spending 40 or I don't know, 50 bucks on lipsticks and eyeshadow palettes and all of that. Like maybe that's part of the reason, but there was a time on YouTube that, you know, these luxury brands were like all the rage. You would just aspire to own one of these. And I mean, I just have them for like, they're almost like a collection thing. I mean, this is actually quite nice. I do like these. But the rest, you can find way better lipsticks at the drugstore. You can find better lipsticks from mid-end brands. Your MAC has really nice lipsticks, and they always have. But yeah, I feel like luxury brands, they haven't been doing anything cool, anything exciting. Like they just release stuff and I just kind of keep scrolling past trend mood. I also don't see a lot of it on YouTube anymore, which is a little nice. Not gonna lie, because it did get exhausting after a while, like just lusting after these obscenely priced items and kind of like going after that. But in reality, like, no, none of us really needed that stuff. And a lot of my makeup purchases that I regret are higher end stuff. Like, okay, for example, Charlotte Tilbury, this blush, which I love. It's a really nice blush, this booby blush. I can get the same type of effect for, I mean, like less than half with like the Kimchi Chic Beauty blushes. I mean, they're very, this is more muted, but you get the same type of effect. You have a lighter color, a darker color, lighter color, darker color, and you're supporting an indie brand with this. You're supporting someone who also got accused of racial things over in the summer. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, these higher end luxury brands just keep dropping things that are not very exciting or innovative, and I feel like people have finally just kind of tuned them out. I know I have. So yeah, I think this is it for this video. It was kind of a rambly one, but I would love to know, what are the brands that just have either disappointed you, maybe they're not exciting you as they used to. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you're brand new, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. If you want to see this makeup look, I will link it down below. It's a very fun and quite easy makeup look, and I will be uploading a video about the brands that have been exciting me, so it'll be like the opposite of this video. I will also link it down below if it's up. If it's not up, then I will wait until it's up and then I will update it, but you'll see the links. You'll see the links. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!